Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video we are going to incorporate a couple of the requests I've had. One is to use the new Brutfuner 180 set that I got from Amazon UK a short while ago. So I have picked a couple of pencils from that set. And the other is to colour from Yampuffs Dreams collection book that I got a while ago. And so I've picked this page, which comes from, I think they're on the back, Carousel of Dreams. So if you don't have the collection book, but you have her Carousel of Dreams book, I believe you will have this page. To incorporate this into Rosy Crafted Colours hashtag spooky season 2021. I've picked Halloween colours for this, so I have a selection of purples, oranges and grey with a white and black for this page, and we will see how we do. So in my head, before I start, I do kind of have a think about it and decide what things are going to be what, kind of in a basic sense. I've decided, as you can see, she creates the carousel, so I actually wanted her to be the carousel itself. So I think she's going to be a grey to make her look like, you know, one of those tent topper figures, like the old, you know, Mr. Wimpy figures on top of the burger joint. You got the big, massive plastic caricatures. So she's going to be a bit like that. So she will be grey, possibly leaving her hair a black grey. So the purple and orange will be incorporated into everything else. I'm going to go with orange for a dress, I think. So as always, I've got my darkest orange, which is Bright Orange 101 from the Brutfuner set. As always, if you're using different pencils, it is absolutely fine, it doesn't matter. You just need a very dark orange, a medium orange. I've got kind of this warmer tone as well, along with this cooler orange, and then a very pale creamy kind of an orange, and you're away. They never have to match, it doesn't matter. So I am starting by popping down my dark shadow line into the groove of these pleats, just bringing that all the way up, one nice sharp line, and then I'm going to add a layer next to it that's a little bit less pressure and more feathered out, ready for that to slide into the next colour. And I'm going to do that with all my pleats. As always, you're deciding where the inside of the pleat will be and the outside. I've picked these as my outside edge, which leaves the bottom of the pleat in shadow and your darkest colour. You're quite welcome to add grey into these little pockets if you like, if that's how you colour. Just pop your bit of grey down underneath and then your orange on top. Again, just feathering those pleats out, ready for the next colour, and so we don't have any harsh lines. Do one more. To check my hands out of the way I forget. Right, so there's going to be a point, as always, that you swap, and you need to think about the drawing itself. To me, I do this like there's not a lot of a pleat, like it's sat in the front, so a tiny bit both sides, so that then you see this to me will be underneath because of the way it falls down into her lap. So that would be dark, dark, dark on the left side of these. But it's deciding at what point that changes, and to be honest, for me it would probably be there. So I'm going to have a little bit on this front panel without really making it dark, so that it does become a front panel, and then my pleats all of a sudden drop in behind it again, and we have just swapped sides. So we've then essentially created the shape of that dress. This is a front panel now, and these are pleated in behind it, and then I would just continue my way around with that dark on the other side to previously, and then it should fall into the pattern of the dress. The next colour I have here is Pumpkin Yellow 091, and then we essentially just work that in to the next colour. Again, I'm going to feather that out. I'm then going to go to my palest choice, which is Shallow Yellow 084, and I'm going to pop that along my brightest edge. And then with my last colour that I chose, which is bright orange, I'm just going to pop a tiny little bit of orange again along that edge. What that suggests to the eye is that that fold is then returning back on itself and just giving a little bit of darkness. I'll go back in with my pale colour and blend that. And then I will take that original pale orange, the pumpkin yellow, and just bring that a little bit further into that light tone, now that we have definitely decided where everything is going to be, and just blend that right out. And then it just gives the illusion of this highlighted piece catching the light. You will get, you know, if you're not blending with something, you will get some white space. This does not bother me for the dress at all, because we are going for a fabric-like texture anyway. What you've also got to remember is what I said earlier, that technically, although it's a fabric dress, it wouldn't be. It would be a plastic dress if I want that to be the roof of the carousel, because she's a person, but I've decided she's a plastic model. So that is why we want plenty of highlight and shine to her. And what I would very likely do when I'm all done at the end is pop in a little bit of a white Posca or gel pen highlight stripe along the sides that will really make her look like it's not a fabric, it has a plastic shine on it. Right, so again we're back to that pumpkin yellow, working that along. For the bigger strips you'll have a bit more of it. Bringing it down to a narrower piece, then going to add a much more faded out edge to it. Going to go to my pale colour, which is the shallow yellow, and pop that all the way along that edge. You will notice I do always go over everything with my palest colour, it does just blend it in a little bit. I'm then taking that, which one is it? The salmon pink that I'm using just along these outside edges to give that just a hint of rolling back on itself. Stops the top looking flat because that's not how that would actually appear. And then my pumpkin yellow again, just to blend where it's meeting that lighter tone. And then again my palest colour, the shallow yellow, and just popping that final layer. We do this in layers because they're oil pencils. To get the actual colours you want, you'll see each time I lay a layer down, that colour looks darker and more clear, because you do need to build these pencils up. And when all done, if you want to blend that with a zested pencil blend or a blender pencil, whatever you prefer to use, that option is then there. Let it completely dry and then you can pop your little white strips in for your plastic highlight. I think that's enough for the dress to give you the idea of what you're doing. So I think next, let's see now. Let's do one of these horses. I think my horses are all going to be, I may do purple and orange alternate, I'm not sure, but definitely a purple one, so we'll start with that. I've got a few purple choices picked out. I have, again, doesn't matter what pencils you're using, just select yourself as pale a purple as you can find, and then a medium and a slightly darker, and then a very dark purple. Try and collect them all in the same colour family, so if they're a reddy purple, you know, 4 of those, these are quite a neutral purple tone. And I have light purple 062, wisteria 149, lavender 123, and dark purple 005. Same rules apply as always. We're going to decide where all the little shadows would be. So under the horse's belly we'll have a little bit of dark purple and then blend it out. A tiny bit underneath this saddle, help it look less flat. Same rule applies under the jaw there. Well, head, I suppose, and the hair. We'll have some underneath the body there, and the inside of that leg would be quite dark. Same applies for the one behind in here. And then for these ones just a little bit underneath there and here. And underneath this leg here. So we have a little bit under her bum, a little bit just there, not a lot, and underneath this leg. It just starts to help to give the illusion that she's round, not flat. I'm then going to save my lavender for the hair, I think, so that the hair looks slightly different from the body. So I've so far used my darkest purple, which is dark purple. I'm then going to bring in this lovely wisteria and just pop that next to everywhere. We just pop that purple, just bringing it more into the body, preserving where you know your lighter body areas will be. I think it should be a bit more shaded here from the tail, and again this saddle. And then taking my light purple and just bringing that lightly in everywhere else. Now, dependent on how shiny new or faded you want this to be, you can then continue to build those layers up. That will make them more and more vibrant. So same for this little face, we'll have some dark shadows in underneath the bottom. So we give her cheekbones as such. Bit of a shadow underneath the hair. And the inside of that ear. And a little bit underneath. Second colour being the wisteria, and then just working that in from the darker purple we just placed. And then the light colour, the light purple, just to bring that in. Again, if you want to emphasise the look of them being plastic, you could pop a little, a little white C on the bum there, a little bit on the front of the leg or the front of her body. Now, as you create your page, your colours will often evolve. Just because I've said I want to do purple, orange and grey doesn't mean I can't then, do what I want. It's my page. And I've decided, I think it'd be nice if she had some pink accents to that. I didn't plan for that, so bear with me one moment. I may make it quite a mauvey pink and then it will kind of sit in quite nicely with that purple. Ooh, maybe not that one. No, let's try it. Right, of course, the rulers always applies. These are budget pencils. Give them a sharpen. Take the top layer off. Okay, so I've added grayish pink 172. This looks absolutely lovely. Dark peach puff 186 and rosy pink 024. These are three very, very different colours, just because I thought it might make the hair a bit more fun. Same rules apply. We have darkest tone in underneath where the shadow is going to be on that hair. These will be trickier to blend because they are not the same colour this time. Pick out your dark patches. And work out where your underneath spots are going to be. I'm then going to, I think I will try this greyish pink just for the fun of it, and I'm actually going to pop that into the bottom parts so it's not touching that crazy hot pink we've got, because they're just going to muddy each other. And I think this greyish pink will be my saddle colour. I like the complement. Just going to colour that in with the little bridle there. And her hooves as well, I think. And then I'm going to take this dark peach puff. It's a bit of a pinky orange. And we're going to see if that will blend into those colours for us. Hold things together. And you'll notice it just gives that colour different layers and depths. Just makes it a bit more fun. Just building that up, adding a couple of layers of it over the top. Now that I'm sure I like it. Yeah, I like, it's kind of an orangey pink, so I like that it still ties in a little bit between the orange and the purple. Not sure whether I'm going to make this look Halloweeny enough to actually count for the spooky season, but we'll have a go. Right, my little horse. So I think for that little bow, we'll take our dark purple again. Have a nice dark purple little bow. Again, just popping in where it will be dark, and then going to add that lavender in next. And then taking my palest purple, which is that light purple. Yeah, right, let's build this body up a little bit, one more layer. Yeah, so I think my horses will be the same. I think I like the idea of that, so I would just rinse and repeat 3 more times. So going back to our orange collection, we'll do her shoes. can stop my pencils rolling off my desk. Check her shoes are in frame. There we go. Okay, so darkest colour again. We do the same. I'm going to give her at the bottom of her shoe a bit of darkness where that would curve underneath. Feather that out. Creating a bit of a C shape again, because also that is where your shadow would be. Darker edge, feather it in. Taking that salmon pink colour and again just giving it just that light impression of the shoe curling back on itself, and then taking that shallow yellow, our palest colour, going to leave a little stripe of white this time to show you the other way that you can do it if you like to, and we'll just pop that in and it will have the same effect as popping in your little white highlight. So we'll then take our medium colour, the pumpkin yellow, and work these in between those two tones. Circles to blend them in, and we'll stop about the halfway mark for that. Again, I kind of pop where I want it in, and then once I'm comfortable with it, I'll lock that in by adding more layers and blending that in. Always feathering it out and leaving it a bit paler on its edge so it will work into the next colour. And then again, our shallow yellow, leaving our white strip. Bringing that in and round into the other colour. So to keep its shape, you don't put your white strip on the edge, you put your little bit of orange and then your strip of white in. Will make it look more realistic because of the shape of that item. Right, back to the dark colour. I'm going to pop that into the bottom of these, fade it out. Same here, but also where it crosses underneath there. Same again. And here. Fade it out. Back to our pumpkin yellow. Fade that out. Here's a bit darker, so I'm just popping that pumpkin yellow in. Same again, fade it up and out. A little bit just here. And then again we go to our, nope, wrong one, salmon pink, tiny bit just here, along the edge of that leg. And then our palest colour. Shallow yellow, sorry, there we go. Mould that all together. Again, you could choose to leave a strip of white or not, it's up to you. This little bow here will be a bit darker because it's underneath the way that it is. So in this case, I'm going to make it mostly that dark orange, the bright orange. I'll leave a couple of little bits, there we go. Bring this down. As always, my salmon pink, bringing that up from here, just to give the image that that little bow's curling back on itself in there in the bottom. So your actual highlight is the piece coming up, not the piece coming down, because it won't look right. Bringing in this pumpkin yellow again. And then the highlight in that shallow yellow. I might just soften that with that pumpkin yellow. Just fade that between the two. Looking like a bit of a line otherwise. It's not really what I want. There we go. That is us so far. The underside of her dress probably wants to be in some more of the orange tones. I'd probably give this a bit less kind of pattern and depth really, because we don't mind it looking like a flat surface. So I'm just going to make the outside edging a dark purple. It's out of where I've decided my light source is, so I'm quite happy not to put any highlighted areas into it. And just make it that deep orange. And still feel confident that it looks the way that it should. Going to take that pumpkin yellow, the other orange that we have, and do the same thing with those hearts. Solid colour. They're a flat 2D shape, pretty much. You would be slightly rounded, but we're not in the light, so there's no sheen to add in. And then it's up to you for the banner colour. I might incorporate our grey. So let's see now. I've got this lead grey. Shall we try that? Again, I'm just creating a flat colour. Popping that in. just like that. Just add that flat grey colour into there. Right, I think we'll do one more item. We'll do her legs. And then I think that will probably do. I think we're going to be a part 1 and 2, aren't we? Because I colour too slow. So I have for her umber grey 110, light grey 125, black 001, and that lead grey again 018. And we'll try those and see how we find it. So with my black, very carefully, I'm going to pop that along the underside of that foot. And those ribbons. Add some shape in there. I'm not laying much pressure on this at all. I don't want a dark edge. I'll do that with my greys when I bring it up over the top. The black is just to deepen the colour, so I don't want this to be dark or harsh in any way. It'd be just impossible to blend it out. So just a little hint of colour, shade and shadow. I'm just thinking about what's underneath everything now. So under her thigh, along the underneath of her leg. And we'll same thing. We're going to have some shading from this tubing over the other leg. Okay, so then to the umber grey, which is also still very, very dark. And we'll give it that darker edge with that. So just a little bit right along the edge, just deepening that. Bringing that out a little bit now. Nice and light. Okay, we have that lead grey, and I'm going to do the same again and just give that fore edge a little bit of grey depth. Just that hint of her leg curving back on itself so that you have that rounded shape. And then I'm going to bring this up a little bit further in this colour. Still pressing very lightly, not really committing to these greys fully yet. I'll take that to about the halfway mark because that is the point where the leg will curl back on itself. Just kind of where that shin bone is. Same again now, you're getting into a tricky bit because she's got knees. You have knees, that's how your legs bend. But obviously the artist, this is a very simple drawing and you have a choice now. These details aren't in. So you can choose to pretend it doesn't exist. Or you can create a kneecap, which is risky business. Especially for me, who can't draw. You're going to have to create some extra shadowing. And you need to get it right, or it's going to look odd. Let's see now, take a little bit out here. Right, we'll see how that goes. We need to also add a little bit of grey in here. Okay, I'm going to darken this area up because we're underneath everything else and we want that impression. Hope this isn't really boring, guys. Oh. If you've come to just see me lay one colour down, this is not the right channel. You have to commit to me. We're going to be here a while. We never get anything done quick. It's never done in one video, despite my intentions. Purposely picked this page because it shouldn't take long. Right. And obviously I will continue to layer that up as I add in other parts. So I've kind of got the impression of her knee and the lighter side of her leg now. So I've got this very, this light grey 125 for my last colour. Let's be honest, skin's hard at the best of times. So if you're crazy enough to play with an unusual skin choice, you're just gonna have to see what you end up with. Okay, so now that we're happier with what we've got and where it is, like I said, now we commit we commit to our shadow. The worst thing you can do with anything really is to chicken out. Let's call it what it is to chicken out and not put that darkness down, to just leave it and think, whew, that'll do. Put your dark, build it up, make it dark. We need to be dark people, not just dark. It'll be worth it in the end, because it will take that picture that you were thinking, that's not really what I thought that was going to look like, to what you wanted it to be. So back to the pale grey, I'm just going to pop that in there. Same again. And then I'm taking that lead grey again, working in my shadow up to that midline. And I suppose all this really shows is that even the simpler pages take me a bit of time. To get them the way I want. You can pop some of that light over the top of everything just to mould that in a little bit. It won't completely get rid of your white spacing, but it will mould those colours together a little bit for you and give it a smoother appearance. And then it's up to you if you want to use a blending medium of some sort later on. Same again, pale. I'm really wondering what I was thinking drawing in my first ever kneecap on camera, to be honest. That's the sort of thing I feel like I should have practiced. So you're going to have to, I maybe wouldn't blindly follow this part of the tutorial, to be honest. Let's, I'd think about that a bit before you do it. Maybe work on that one a little bit for yourselves. As always, darker in the bottom, really deepening that up, and then fading it out as I come up towards the next colour. Need to keep a bit more depth for where that knee is. Like I say, we're committing now. We're going to darken it up. It is what it is. Right, let's see. A little bit more in here. And then my palest grey again. Now you know why I work on a grayscale. It's quicker. So many people are nervous about grayscale when in reality all that the grayscale's done is already put all of this stuff in for you. So all you need to do is pick your colours. Right, brush that off, let's have a look. Are we looking leggish? Maybe. Right, same again, pale colour. Remembering the shape of what we colour, so we're bringing that in a rounded motion. I am going to leave a little bit of white, I think, on the top of this knee where that plastic's faded out in the sun and there's a little bit of shine on it. But like I say, keeping that rounded effect and then coming back to that lead grey. Work it in to meet that paler tone. Yeah, only downside is we'll have to do that again on the other leg. So guys, I hope that's been useful. As I say, I will do a part 2 for the other bits and pieces, and I'll try and get these coloured in before I do part 2 so you can actually see that looking the way that it should do, so you can actually decide whether you like this page at all. What you've got to remember is you can choose any colour palette you want for this. You know, choose pink and skin tone and just follow along with the shading. You need a very dark, 2 medium and a pale is my general rule. And you can turn this into any colours that you want with that. So yeah, hope you found this useful, guys. As always, if you did, please press the little thumbs up icon underneath the bottom of your screen. It helps me plan future content, so I know whether to bother with these kinds of things again. And apart from that, just thank you so much as always for watching, guys, and I will see you in part 2.